Some more accommodations. We talked about greater movement, opportunities to move. Allow the student to test orally on wrong answers. Send a second set of books home. That's pretty much a given. Another thing we do is with eye contact. We have the talking ball, but we also talk about how do I know you're listening? Instead of saying, look at me, say, how do I know you're listening? And one of the things we teach is we hear with our ears, we listen with our eyes. We hear with our ears, we listen with our what? Our eyes. I say that a few times, then I have them say it, and then whenever I ask them, how do I know you're listening? They look up. They look at me. So that's another way to help with that. Inflection, praising. What if we had them act out a story? Let them act it out. Do you think they would learn it? What if we found more visual ways for them to create a backdrop for a history lesson? And somebody else writes a script, who likes to write, and somebody else acts it out. And the best comedians, I mean, is it a surprise that Jim Carrey has ADHD? Very talented guy, though. Funny guy. And so, you know, why is it that we like them? Why are they so animated? Because it's stimulating. It's exciting. They illustrate things and they talk about things in a way that keeps you engaged. They make it as visual as possible. Pair the student with a responsible peer. So there could be this bossy kid. All of a sudden now we can give them something they can do. You know, hey man, don't forget to turn in that paper, because you know the most disruptive time in the classroom is when the teacher says, "Okay, guys, let's turn in your paper. Let's turn in your project. Let's turn in your homework." And what does everybody do? Oh, did you see the game on TV? Did you see who won? I didn't see it. Did you watch such and such a show? And so all this talking is happening, and so he's so engaged in conversation, he's forgot what he was supposed to do. All the papers are turned in, and then the teacher says, "Take out your book and go to page 35." And he's like, "Okay," you know, gets out the book and then totally forgot to turn in the paper, or can't even find the paper. So we talk about helping kids with organization. Maybe we have a homework folder that's has on one side all the worksheets for the day and assignments on the left, to do, and on the right is to turn in, and it's a bright neon color, and it's got a chain attached to it, and it's attached to the backpack. Great, another great tool, just a way to make sure they don't lose that thing, because if they lose it, it's everything's in there, right? So that's another tool. So what we help the students with that. We help the parents at home with homework recommendations, where they earn their time, they earn more screen time or more outside time, or whatever reward motivator it is. You earn time for, maybe you earn 5 minutes for starting your homework on time. After 30 minutes of playing outside, let them play outside. Let them not watch TV. They need to move. They need to get their endorphins going. Let them play outside. And then when they do that, they come in. They can have a snack. We do protein snacks, as we'll talk about, and then we have them start their homework. If they start on time, they earned their part of a reward. If they put their homework, if they show you their homework and match it up with their planner, if they sign their planner, they get 5 or 10 minutes of time. So all these different things they earn, you know, maybe up to 30 minutes of screen time. Also, maybe for getting their homework done before dinner and doing it right the first time. In other words, not rushing, but we say do it right the first time. It's just how you say it that's very important. Ask the students to repeat directions. I tell parents, tell teachers, please have the ADHD student repeat it, or have somebody in the classroom near them repeat it, so they're not singled out. That way, now there's somebody else talking, and they're not tuning out the teacher like Charlie Brown. Wah, 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 wah. Visual clutter. So whenever I do consultations for schools, look at the classroom. We want to make sure that everything's nice and neat and clean. The desk is neat and clean as much as possible. And the only thing on the board is whatever the teacher's talking about. And then they erase that, and then they put the assignment on the board. And then the student can write it down. It's a lot easier if they can actually see it. And maybe they could say it, but they also need to see the assignment. You know, you go into some, like in middle school, you'll have 5 or 6 assignments on the board for various classes, and then the kids look at that and they just, it's just overwhelming, and they'll get distracted by all the different things that's on there, and they won't write down their assignments. We encourage them to copy a chapter in the book, highlight as they're reading to help them to retain the information. Transitioning from one activity can be difficult and disorganizing for a child, so help the child themselves to structure by gentle reminders. Put your spelling book away in your backpack so that you can study for your spelling test tomorrow. Pause. Watch the student. Wait for them to do it. Have them repeat it. What did I ask you guys to do? Put the spelling book away. Why? There's a test tomorrow. Very good. Thank you. Now, let's get our math books out. Pause. What did I ask you guys to do? Get our math books. Awesome. Okay, great. Now we continue. Turn to page 37. So, predict the child's response to change, transitions, or routines, and prepare the student by discussing in advance what he or she might expect. So, for instance, if you do have recess, or if the family is going to go to the park and it's raining and it doesn't look like it's going to let up, and you said yesterday that we're going to the park, what are they going to say when you say, oh, it's raining and we can't go to the park? But you promised! You promised we could go out. So, you predict. You predict what's going to happen, and we prepare for it. So, hey Johnny, if it doesn't stop raining in about 30 minutes, what's going to happen? We're not going to get to go out and play. Okay, so what do you think we could do about that? What are some other options? I know, but I want to go out. I want to run around. I want to play. I want to play tag. I know, and we're going to validate that. I can see why you want to go play. I can see that. I can see you're frustrated that we might not get to go. So that's why I want to talk about what can we do instead. So we predict what they're going to do, and then we do what? We prepare. Refrain from lecturing or embarrassing the ADHD child. Asking questions, by the way, and getting you guys to respond periodically like that, that's what the teachers, we want them to do in the classroom too, to keep it interactive and keep them engaged. So refrain from lecturing or embarrassing the child. Take them out in the hallway, talk to them. Shorten homework assignments. So, less math problems or vocabulary is a good accommodation too. So it's kind of insulting because these kids are very intelligent. It's actually insulting to, for them in their mind to do, 30 problems or even the odd problems when they're the same problems with just different numbers. And most people learn by doing it 30 times, but they actually get it. So they just need to do the first, middle, and last one. Or sometimes we'll have the parents sign off that they mastered the concept. And then when they sign that, then the teacher gives them full credit for the homework. They don't have to do it over and over again. And then, of course, then people say, well, what about vocabulary? I mean, I can see and understand math, but if you change the vocabulary and you actually shorten it, we're not actually accommodating, we're modifying their curriculum. Well, you can try to make them learn all those words all you want, but it's just not going to happen. For some, it's just not going to happen. They're going to have to learn that later. They're going to have to pick up those words later. Some of the words that are vocabulary words aren't really even ever going to be used for most of us, if you think about it. So trying to cram more words into them isn't going to help them. It's going to frustrate them. Long assignments feel overwhelming and often don't get attempted at all. Use a timer to help the student develop a sense of time. Work at your desk for 15 minutes, then you can go to the reading corner, or you can go outside and kick a ball. Nothing electronic. Nothing electronic. They need to maybe play with their Legos. And then set the timer for that as well, so they can come back. Provide task closure in order to motivate the student. After we complete 3 more problems, we can take a break. Hey, you did a really good job with those 12. Now you only have 3 more left, and we can take a break. You're doing awesome, man. I'm proud of you. That encouragement gets them going, gets them excited, gives them a little dopamine, and helps them get through it.